What's up guys, Paul here from Ecommerce Gold, and in this video I'm going to be talking about whether Ecwid or WooCommerce is the better e-commerce plugin for a WordPress website. Now these are two of the most popular e-commerce plugins for the WordPress platform, but they achieve bringing e-commerce functionality to WordPress in different ways. Because with Ecwid, all of your e-commerce elements such as your product pages, your category pages and your checkout are all hosted on Ecwid servers. They're not hosted directly on your website, but then what they do is they integrate into the WordPress system, which is a pretty seamless integration, which I'll show you later on in this video. Whereas WooCommerce, on the other hand, actually adapts the WordPress coding to allow you to create product pages, category pages and a checkout directly on your WordPress site. And it's this difference that leads me perfectly onto the first part of the comparison, which is pricing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my computer and carry on with this comparison. So as I said, the first thing is pricing. Now, as Ecwid is a fully hosted e-commerce platform, to get access to all the e-commerce features, you do need to be on one of their paid plans. They do have a free plan, but it is limited to 10 products and you don't get access to every e-commerce feature. So that's why for this comparison video, I'm actually going to be looking at one of their paid plans, which is their entry-level plan, which is called the Venture Package. And this costs $15 a month if you pay monthly, or $12.50 a month if you pay annually. Now, if this isn't enough for you, they do have two larger packages. They have the business package, which is $35 a month, and the unlimited package, which is $99 a month. And you do get savings on them if you buy those annually as well. But what you get with the venture package, you get to add up to 100 products into your store. You also get no turnover limits and no transaction fees outside of your payment gateway fees, which I think is really good. You also get unlimited data storage. Now this might not seem a lot, but as all of your e-commerce elements such as your product pages and category pages are hosted on Ecwid servers, all of your product images, your category images are also going to be hosted on Ecwid servers. So having this unlimited data storage is really useful, because you know you're not going to have to worry about running out of storage just because you've got too many pictures for your products. You also get a free SSL certificate with the Ecwid checkout. So all of your checkout pages are secured by an SSL certificate. If you want it on the rest of your site, you're going to have to install an SSL certificate on your main WordPress site. Now comparing that to WooCommerce, WooCommerce is free to use. As far as I know, it always has been, and there's no plans to charge for it in the future. And that's because it's owned by the guys who own WordPress. It was actually brought by them a few years ago, and it's basically become the official e-commerce plugin for the WordPress platform. And with the WooCommerce plugin, you get unlimited products, there's no turnover limit, and there's no transaction fees. But your bandwidth, your data storage, and whether or not you have an SSL certificate is all down to your web host, because as I said before, WooCommerce is actually directly in your WordPress site. So it all depends on your WordPress host as to how much of an allowance you get with these things and whether or not you get a free SSL certificate. So with the pricing out of the way, what I want to talk about next is the features. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll down the page I'm on. By the way, if you want to check out this is my full comparison, my full written comparison. I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can go to ecommercegold.co.uk and search for it on there. This is my full written comparison, and I've gone into quite a bit of detail in this, so it is worth checking out because there may be one or two things that I might miss in this video. But with Ecwid, you do get a lot of e-commerce features. And I say this is all on the basic package. As you move up through the bigger packages, you do get more features, but for this video I'm just sticking with the venture package. And what you get in terms of e-commerce tools is you get one-tap checkout, but this is only using Apple Pay. Unfortunately, it doesn't apply to other payment gateways as of yet. This may change in the future depending on how things develop. You also get to schedule order pickup. This is great if you are a local business. So if you're a traditional kind of bricks and mortar store, this may be absolutely brilliant for you. If you're something like a florist or even something like a butcher's, anything where people can come order direct from your website and then come in and pick it up from your store. It's a great feature, and it's something that's not available on that many e-commerce platforms. You can also sell physical products and digital products. You can also offer discount codes, so if you want to send these out over email marketing or have special promotions, you can do that. People can also buy gift cards from you as well, so you can encourage repeat business. And as I said before, you get a secure checkout. The next thing talks about marketing, and this is one of the great features of the Ecwid platform, is because it's such a versatile platform, it allows you to sell on multiple different channels. So you can sell via your website. You can also expand this to sell via Facebook, via Instagram. So if you have large audiences on them, you can sell directly through these platforms. You don't have to try and encourage them to come through your website to make the purchase. They can just buy directly through their social media. You can also sell directly with Amazon. There's quite a few integrations with Ecwid. It's worth checking them out because it's a kind of Swiss Army knife of e-commerce when it comes to how many platforms you can actually sell on using the central point that is Ecwid. It really is a good platform in that way. You can also create custom metadata, so you can create custom titles and custom meta descriptions as well. And it auto generates SEO friendly URLs, which is really useful and is great for SEO. And it really does complement what you get as standard from the WordPress platform in terms of SEO. It also has a good number of reporting features. You can see how many visitors you've had, what the revenue is, conversion rate, number of orders, things like that. Pretty typical kind of e-commerce analytics. Now, one of the things that does make Ecwid stand out from WooCommerce is the amount of payment gateways you get. Because Ecwid is really a global platform, there are so many different payment gateways that are integrated with the Ecwid platform. Some of the main ones include PayPal, Stripe, WorldPay, Square, Apple Pay through Stripe, Authorize.net. These are big name payment gateways, and there are lots more than that. And if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link to Ecwid in the description below so you can go and check it out and see all the payment gateways they offer, because they really do offer a lot of payment gateways, and these are all integrated into the Ecwid platform, so you can start using these straight away. Also with Ecwid, you do get access to their app marketplace. Now this is full of a few apps that's made by third-party developers that adds different functionality to the Ecwid platform. Now, I'm not going to go too much into detail in this video, but if you want to know more about that, then check out my Ecwid review, because I do a full review specifically on the Ecwid platform. If you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the card up here or up here, one of them. So that's Ecwid. So what do you get with WooCommerce? Well, as you can see, WooCommerce is a little bit light when it comes to e-commerce features. When it comes to e-commerce tools, you can sell physical and digital products. You can also sell multi-variation products as well, and you can create discount codes which you can send out via email newsletters or social media promotion. When it comes to the marketing and SEO, it very much piggybacks off the WordPress platform, because you get access to the blog, which you do with Ecwid as well, and it creates SEO friendly URLs as long as you set your permalinks up properly within WordPress. Other than that, it's pretty limited. Now, they have added a new analytics feature into the WordPress plugin, which is a massive improvement over the old analytics, which were not that great, to be honest. But with the new analytics, you can see sales by date, by product, by category. You can also see your ratio of registered customers versus guest customers, which is always useful. Now, another thing that is lacking with the WooCommerce plugin is the number of payment gateways. As standard, you just get PayPal standard. That's the only actual payment gateway that's integrated with the core WooCommerce plugin. If you want any additional payment gateways, you have to install additional plugins. So if you want Stripe, you're going to have to install an additional plugin. Even if you want PayPal Express Checkout, you're going to have to install an additional plugin. And this is something that, if you're not careful, can actually start slowing your site down by the amount of plugins that some websites will need in order to get WooCommerce to work really effectively. Because every plugin you install on the site is more drain on your website servers. So you do need to be careful with the amount of plugins you do actually install with WordPress. Now, you may notice that there's a few big names missing from here, such as WorldPay and SagePay. And the reason why I've left them off this list is because if you want to have them on your WooCommerce site, you do need to buy the plugin from WooCommerce. And these plugins aren't particularly cheap. They run at $79 each. And that is one of the things that can cause WooCommerce to become quite expensive, is sometimes you will need to use premium plugins. Not everything will be available via a free plugin, and if you're not careful, using too many paid premium plugins can result in your WooCommerce site becoming quite expensive quite quickly. But talking about plugins, let's look at one of the main features of WooCommerce and WordPress in general, and that's the plugin library. Now, I've done a quick search in the WordPress plugin library. Now, these are all the free plugins that are available directly within your WordPress dashboard. I've done a quick search, and you can see that it generates over 7,000 results that contain the word WooCommerce somewhere in there as a keyword. That's a lot of plugins, and this shows how popular and also versatile the WooCommerce plugin is, because there's a lot you can do with WooCommerce, and you can create so much more than a basic e-commerce website. You can create booking websites, you can create membership sites, subscription sites, even multi-vendor marketplaces can be created using the WooCommerce plugin as a base. But as I mentioned earlier, you do need to be careful with the amount of plugins you actually install, because they can put a serious drain on your site's resources. And what this can do is this can really affect your site's performance. So your load times can be affected, and it becomes more and more difficult to actually optimize your WooCommerce site effectively. So that is something you do want to bear in mind. So that's the features and the pricing of the two plugins. And now what I'm going to move on to, which I'm guessing you probably wished I would have moved on to already, is what these two plugins are actually like to use on WordPress. Now I'm going to start with Ecwid, because it's Ecwid versus WooCommerce. So what you need to do is go to ecwid.com, or I'll leave a link in the description below, which you can click on that and it'll take you straight there. What you need to do is you actually need to sign up with Ecwid first. So you need to click on get started, and it will come up with a sign up box where all you need to do is enter your email address and a password, and it will set you up a free account. So once you've been through the sign up process, you'll be taken into your Ecwid dashboard, which looks pretty much exactly like this. And what you'll be greeted with is something that will feel quite familiar if you're used to using WordPress, because the layout is pretty similar to the WordPress dashboard. You'll also be greeted by this quite comprehensive setup guide, which will take you through how to integrate Ecwid with your website, in this case WordPress. Also take you through how to set up your products, how to set up your settings, how to set up your delivery methods and your payment options. It's a really good introductory guide, and you get used to how the Ecwid system works, how the Ecwid dashboard works. But once you've done that, once you've got yourself signed up and you've got yourself kind of accustomed to using Ecwid, what you want to do is go into your WordPress website. So go into your WordPress dashboard, go into plugins, click on add new, and then type in Ecwid. And you want to look for this one here, which is by Ecwid Ecommerce. Now, as you can see, I've already installed it. What you want to do is click install, then click activate. What it will do is it will activate the Ecwid plugin on your website. So once you've installed the plugin and activate it, what you want to do is you want to click connect your store. It will then ask you if you want to connect your Ecwid account to your WordPress account. So you just click accept. And what it will do is it will import all the information from the Ecwid dashboard directly into the WordPress dashboard. Once it loads, now as you can see, it's literally brought the whole Ecwid dashboard in. It looks exactly the same. And this is one of the things that's really good with Ecwid. The integration between Ecwid and WordPress is absolutely fantastic. And as you can see, you've got everything here that you've got in your Ecwid dashboard. And it makes the setup process really easy and really quick to actually get started with Ecwid on WordPress. But how do you get started with WooCommerce? Well, it's very much the same, and anybody who's used to using WordPress will know that you need to go to the plugin library and install the plugin. So you install it, click activate, and then when it loads, it will have installed the plugin for you. As you can see, it's appeared here, and then you get these new options in the WordPress sidebar. Now, when you've installed your WooCommerce plugin, it will ask you if you want to go through the setup guide, and it's worth going through because it sets up your kind of business information. You can set your PayPal standard up, set up a basic delivery method, things like that. It's good, but it doesn't actually show you how to do this in WooCommerce. It just kind of does it for you. Whereas with Ecwid, it shows you what it's like to actually set up products, set up all your settings, and what it's like when you actually go in and do that for yourself. So you do learn more from the Ecwid setup guide than you do from the WooCommerce setup guide, if that makes sense. So once you've been through the setup process with WooCommerce, you can then go and start adding products. And that's the next thing I want to talk about, is managing your inventory in these two plugins. Now with WooCommerce, it's really simple to add a new product. Just go on products, add new, and it'll bring up this menu. Now anybody who's used WordPress for a while will recognize this layout because it's based on the classic editor, not the new Gutenberg block editor. And it's very simple and very well laid out. So you just add your product name, your main description, your product information, and then your short description. So why is there two descriptions? Well, the main description sits below your product images, whereas the short description sits next to your product images if you're looking on a website. And I'll show you what this looks like in the front end a little bit later in the video. So that's how simple it is to add a new product into WooCommerce. And organizing your products is equally as simple. You just click on categories. You can then create or edit categories as you feel like it. And within WooCommerce, you can create parent categories and child categories. This is really great for organizing your inventory, especially if you have a large selection of products, because sometimes you need category within a category, because it just makes it so much easier, not only for you as a store owner to be able to navigate around your products, but also easier for your customers to navigate around your site to find the ideal product that they're looking for. So that's how easy it is to set up your product categories and organize your products. So what about what it's like to actually manage your inventory? Well, WooCommerce has got one of the best product management setups I've actually come across, and it's actually based off the quick editor, which anybody who's used WordPress before will know about when it comes to editing posts or editing pages. The quick editor is a really useful tool. Within WooCommerce, it allows you to change the title, the URL. You can also change the SKU of it. If you've got it so you manage your inventory, it will also come up with an inventory option here as well, so you can add or remove products. You can also change the price as well, all from this main overview menu, and you can also change the product category as well. This makes it really easy to manage your inventory without having to go in and edit each product on an individual basis. It just makes life so much easier, especially if you've got a large inventory, because there's nothing worse than having to go in and edit products individually when you've got lots of products. So that's one of the things that is really good with WooCommerce, is this quick edit system. It just makes life so much easier. So that's how easy it is to manage your inventory within WooCommerce. But what's it like to do this within Ecwid? Well, Ecwid has a really good system as well. If you just go into your Ecwid dashboard, which is under the Ecwid tab, navigate to catalog and then products, it will bring up a list of all your products. Now, to add a new product, you just click on the big blue add new product button. Now, it has got a different layout to that of WooCommerce, and in some ways, visually to me, it does look a bit better because it's a bit more easier on the eyes than the classic editor in WordPress, which does look a bit dated these days. But to add a new product in Ecwid is really, really easy. You just add the name, SKU, add your description, assign the product to a category, add your price, and then you work your way through the different tabs to get it all set up. And then when you're ready to go, you just click add new product, and it adds that product to your inventory. It's a really simple process, and the layout's really good, and it has got a good workflow to it. So what's it like to organize your products on Ecwid? Well, it's very similar into the way you do it on WooCommerce, because they use the same kind of category system. So if you just click on categories, leave this page because I don't want to save that product, and you'll see an overview of your categories. And as you can see, you can add main categories, but they call them root categories, and you can also add subcategories. And this makes it really easy to organize your products exactly the way you would on WooCommerce into parent and child categories. If you've got a large inventory, it just makes it so much easier to organize your products. But where Ecwid is not quite as good as WooCommerce is when it comes to managing your inventory, because there's no way to edit the products from the product overview page. If you want to edit the product, you have to click the edit product button, and it will take you back into the product where you can make all the changes. This is not as good as WooCommerce, and if you do have a large inventory, this could mean a lot of time spent updating your products. It's one thing I do wish Ecwid would change, and it's one thing that would make a massive difference to the Ecwid platform. So that's how you manage your inventory. So what about when it comes to your orders? Because that's the section where the majority of e-commerce businesses will spend their time. If they're not adding products, they'll be spending time managing their orders. And Ecwid has one of the best order management systems I have come across. While they're not very good at managing the products in the overview menu, managing your orders is really, really easy to do. So you just navigate to My Sales, then click on Orders, and what it will do is it'll bring up a summary of all the orders you've taken. And there's so many things you can do in this main order overview page. What you can do is select the product, mass update, you can print it, you can export it, you can change the payment status, you can change the fulfillment status, or you can delete the order. There's just so much you can do directly from this menu. There's no reason to actually go into the order information screen. You just don't need to do it, because pretty much everything is doable in the order overview screen. As I say, this is one of the best order management systems I have come across in all the platforms I reviewed. But what's it like to manage your orders on WooCommerce? Well, unfortunately, this is something that WooCommerce doesn't do very well at all, especially in its standard form. Because if you go on to manage your orders, so you go onto WooCommerce and then click on orders, there's not much you can do from this order overview menu. In fact, there's not much you can do with your orders, full stop. Now, all you can do in the standard WooCommerce is update the status. You can't print the orders off, you can't export them. To add that functionality, you need to install additional plugins. And this just adds more bulk to your website, even though you do need this functionality. I really don't get why WooCommerce hasn't integrated these kind of features into the core plugin, because every e-commerce site needs this functionality. So I just don't get why they don't do this. So this is a really big letdown on the WooCommerce side. But fortunately, there are a lot of great free plugins that do add this functionality. And one that I always recommend to anybody who's installing WooCommerce is WooCommerce PDF invoices and packing slips. And it just transforms the order management within WooCommerce. It just makes it from pretty much unusable to actually being able to run an effective e-commerce store with. Also, if you want to export it as well, there are additional plugins that you can get for that as well. And there are good free ones out there that you can use. So that's all the back end things of these two plugins, what it's like to get them started, what it's like to use them, what it's like to manage your inventory, what it's like to manage your orders with them. But what do they look like on the front end? Because this is a really important thing, because you want to know that your products are going to display well. Now, this is one of the things with WooCommerce. So let's just go into the front end of my demo site. With WooCommerce, you do need to get a theme that supports WooCommerce, because it doesn't work with every theme out there. Yeah, some themes have no integration, some have limited integration, some are created specifically for WooCommerce. So this does narrow your theme selection. So if you've got a theme that doesn't support WooCommerce, you are going to have to change your theme to one that does. But WooCommerce generally looks really good in the front end. So this is your shop category page, and this is your product page. Now, depending on the theme you've got, you may be able to edit this page. So you may be able to remove the sidebars, change the layout of these slightly. But it all does depend on the theme you're using. But what does Ecwid look like? Well, let's go into my Ecwid store, go into the front end, click on the store, and it does look pretty similar to WooCommerce. Now, the beauty of Ecwid is it works with any theme. You don't need a specific theme in order to work. In fact, they claim it will work with every single WordPress theme out there, because unlike WooCommerce that actually uses core WordPress code, Ecwid doesn't. All of Ecwid's coding is done externally, then it's integrated into your site. And as you can see, the integration is pretty seamless. Like the product pages look really good. Now you can edit the layout of your pages within Ecwid, and this can all be done directly in your dashboard. So if you just go back into your dashboard, click on storefront and click on edit your appearance, it'll bring up the pages that Ecwid is on, and you can edit the layout of your product pages, your category pages, and your main store page. So if you've got a storefront page similar to this one, which you display all your products, you can go and edit this and say it doesn't matter which theme you're using, you'll be able to use Ecwid and it will display exactly how you want it to, which is another advantage of it over WooCommerce, because WooCommerce is theme specific. So my conclusion, which one is the better e-commerce plugin for WordPress? Well, if you're just going to be running a basic business to customer e-commerce store, like the majority of e-commerce stores are, for me, Ecwid does get the nod over WooCommerce, just because you get all the functionality and advantages of having a fully hosted shopping cart directly in your WordPress site, along with not having to worry about theme conflicts and also having to worry about plugin conflicts either, because all the updates of the Ecwid system are taken care of by Ecwid, and then you just have to update one plugin rather than having to update lots of plugins when it comes to WooCommerce updates. And for me, it's just a little bit easier to use as well, because all the e-commerce features and functionality is there. Yes, it is missing the ability to manage your inventory from the product overview page, but that's the only real thing that's missing, in my opinion, from Ecwid. Everything else is there, and for me, it's that perfect marriage of a fully hosted e-commerce platform with a self-hosted WordPress site, and it all comes together and it just works seamlessly. I've tested it out on a few different sites of mine, and it just works. I do really like it. Plus, you get the advantage that you can sell across multiple channels using one core system. So you can sell via your WordPress site, you can sell via Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, Google, and manage it all just from your Ecwid site. And you can actually manage that directly in your WordPress dashboard, because it brings the Ecwid dashboard into your WordPress site. It just works, and it works really, really well. But if you're building anything other than a basic kind of business to customer e-commerce site, then WooCommerce is definitely worth consideration, because it is so versatile and there's so many different options you can create when it comes to WooCommerce. Let's say you can create booking sites, membership sites, subscription sites, multi-vendor sites, and it has lots of possibilities when it comes to the amount of things you can do with it. But it does require a lot of plugins and almost a lot of moving parts to get it working perfectly, and it can become a bit difficult to optimize WooCommerce properly, especially if you've got lots of plugins going on. You also need to make sure that your theme is WooCommerce compatible. So that is my conclusion, that Ecwid if you're just running a normal e-commerce store, is the better option when it comes to adding e-commerce functionality to WordPress. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if it's a bit long, but I did want to cover this in as much depth as I could. If there's more stuff you want to read about this, then you can check out my full written review, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. I'll also leave my links to Ecwid and WooCommerce, so you can go and check those guys out as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please hit that like button, because it really does help the channel out. Also, if you're interested in content like this, please consider hitting that subscribe button. So once again, guys, thank you for watching. Stay awesome, and I'll see you all in the next video.